At present, the largest interstellar object humanity has ever detected is entering the solar system. Astronomers have designated it as 3I Atlas, yet the Sun itself seems to perceive it as a hostile probe radiating the energy of a nuclear reactor. On August 20th, 2025, the Sun appeared to fracture under an unnatural force. Within just 48 hours, 3 massive and unprecedented eruptions burst from the same scar on its surface. First, an M-class flare, then a gigantic plasma filament, and finally, an enormous prominence. Each event hurled billions of tons of solar material directly toward Atlas. Unlike a harmless comet, this object moves against the solar wind in a retrograde orbit, behaving as if it were designed to cause maximum instability. Its plasma envelope acts less like dust and more like a magnetic engine, a hidden nuclear furnace shredding the Sun's magnetic field and snapping its lines like overstressed wires. Now, that same unstable solar region that launched its fury toward Atlas is turning into alignment with Earth. What once struck the interstellar intruder will soon confront us directly. If Atlas indeed carries an electromagnetic or nuclear core, humanity has already entered its experimental radius. The real question is no longer what Atlas is, but how we can protect ourselves from the cascading destruction already beginning on Earth. The most disturbing part is that according to NASA, the warning signs on Earth have already started. Nature itself is breaking its usual rhythm. Hurricane Erin, which meteorologists initially predicted would remain mild, suddenly defied all expectations within only 25 hours. It evolved into a Category 5 monster, an escalation that defies natural explanation without some external influence. Its spiral pattern was unnervingly precise, almost perfectly geometric, echoing the plasma arcs erupting from the Sun. It was as if the planet's atmosphere had been compelled to mirror the solar turbulence triggered by Atlas. Even after it weakened to a Category 2 storm, its sheer scale remained immense, spanning the ocean like an engine of devastation, a vast atmospheric mechanism rewriting the very principles of weather. It was evidence that Earth's climate had entered resonance with something colossal and dangerous beyond itself. But Erin was not the only omen. On August 19th, only hours before the plasma filament escaped the Sun, the skies above Japan descended into chaos. A massive fireball detonated with such intensity that night turned to day. The darkness vanished in a blinding flash as the meteor exploded directly above the volatile Sakurajima volcano, one of the planet's most unstable volcanic systems. Witnesses reported that the ground shook at that exact moment, as though the heavens and the Earth's crust had struck the same note. A cosmic impact above an awakening volcano, an omen too perfect, too frightening to dismiss as coincidence. Then came the earthquakes. They no longer strike at random, but in synchrony with the Sun's patterns. In March, Myanmar was rocked by a 7.7 magnitude quake. By July, an 8.8 megathrust ruptured the Pacific seabed, among the strongest in recorded history. Both quakes occurred exactly in tune with intense plasma streams emerging from a long-lived coronal hole on the Sun. This gaping wound in the Sun's magnetic surface has survived for 12 full rotations, refusing to close and continually discharging enormous bursts of energy toward Earth. If those plasma streams alone were capable of shaking the planet's crust before Atlas appeared, what havoc might follow when they converge? When the Sun's torrents of charged particles collide with Atlas's magnetic shield, amplifying within it like a reactor and rebound toward Earth. The outcome would not be a typical solar storm, but an amplified echo, a shock wave of energy capable of destabilizing both the Sun and the planet's magnetic equilibrium. Even NASA's simulations make the danger impossible to ignore. The coronal mass ejection of August 20th did not disperse randomly across the void. As most CMEs do, it raced outward in a precise, terrifying trajectory, slicing past Mars and directly along Atlas's orbital corridor. This was no ordinary flare. It ranked among the most powerful solar ejections of the entire current cycle. Billions of tons of plasma have been cast into space at speeds of millions of miles per hour. Yet, among all the possible paths across the infinite sky, the trajectory aligned flawlessly with Atlas's course. The probability of such an alignment happening by coincidence is nearly non-existent. The geometry is too precise, the timing too exact, and the magnitude too immense. Atlas is not a random comet drifting without purpose. It is the instigator, the spark, and it's provoking violent responses from the Sun, setting the stage for something far more catastrophic. The months ahead resemble a ticking clock. On October 31st, at perihelion, Atlas will reach its nearest point to the Sun. By that moment, its plasma envelope will have transformed from a passive haze of gas and dust into an active electromagnetic shell, fully energized and capable of capturing, redirecting, and magnifying solar radiation. If Atlas were merely a simple comet, perihelion would only bring typical outgassing and brightening, a harmless celestial display. But if it is what many now suspect, a probe concealing complex structures within its plasma shell, then perihelion becomes its feeding phase. The Sun's energy and charged particles won't destroy it. They will sustain it. Its strange backward orbit implies this is intentional. It has purposely oriented itself to absorb as much solar power as possible, like a device turning its panels toward a light source. This is where the real terror begins. A supercharged electromagnetic shroud wouldn't just shine, it would warp the solar environment itself. It could function as a magnetic weapon, bending and distorting the Sun's magnetic field into unstable configurations. Such tension could trigger colossal solar outbursts, chains of CMEs, or even a superflare, an explosion 10 times stronger than anything humanity has ever recorded. Atlas wouldn't simply survive perihelion, it would exploit it, weaponizing the Sun as its reactor. The consequences would be apocalyptic. A probe that has absorbed so much raw energy could unleash storms throughout the solar system unlike any witnessed before. By destabilizing the Sun, Atlas would multiply the threats already facing our world. An event comparable to the 1859 Carrington catastrophe would cease being a rare cosmic accident. It could become a deliberate ignition. Within minutes, electrical grids across continents would fail. Satellites would vaporize in orbit. GPS networks would collapse, disorienting ships and aircraft worldwide. The financial system, reliant on precise synchronized signals, would disintegrate instantaneously. Hospitals would lose power. Cities would be swallowed by darkness and chaos. Civilization itself could unravel in mere days rather than years. Even worse, the Sun's internal balance could be disturbed in ways unseen in any human record. Energy feedback from Atlas's plasma sheath might twist the magnetic field into chaotic knots, generating eruptions of unimaginable magnitude that sweep across the inner planets. Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Earth could all be struck by storms beyond anything in human comprehension. The danger would not be solely technological. Human physiology is deeply connected to Earth's electromagnetic stability. Even slight fluctuations can interfere with circadian rhythm, distort concentration, and elevate stress, with Atlas disrupting the solar cycles. Those resonances could shift violently. Picture billions of human beings overwhelmed with fatigue, confusion, and unease, their nervous systems reacting to invisible forces far beyond natural endurance. The sequence is undeniable. Atlas arrives, the Sun destabilizes, and Earth trembles. This is no celestial coincidence, it's a countdown. And the chain reaction has already begun. Solar outbursts, cyclones, meteors, and earthquakes are no longer separate phenomena. They are synchronized signals, linked through resonance, each one pointing back to the interstellar rogue. The solar system itself is vibrating in unison, and humanity is trapped within its web. The upcoming October alignments are more than astronomical curiosities. They are markers on a ticking doomsday clock. October 1st, October 22nd, October 31st, each date represents another tightening of the cosmic thread binding us toward an inevitable climax. And November promises no relief. It will bring echoes, aftershocks, storms, and seismic convulsions as the Earth endures the rebound of solar chaos. Atlas has come. The Sun has replied. Earth shudders. The storm is not approaching, it is already here. The question is no longer whether three-eyed Atlas is an alien construct. The proof speaks for itself. The only question left is how humanity can survive it. Share your thoughts below. The world needs answers. To stay informed as this crisis unfolds, follow closely. The saga of Atlas has not ended. It has only just begun.